By Wednesday morning, married 10 years, a few teenagers left in the house. Should have all the kids out of the house in 4 years. Recently, we've had a bunch of friction, stress over financial issues, which she blames me for. Been going to couples counseling for years now. It's been a lot of work keeping together. I could talk more on that but later. It may be just stress, but my W has been spending a lot of time away from home the last few months. She works out of state and often stays at her siblings' house a few days at a time to cut down on commuting. Lately she's been more withdrawn, shown no interest in intimacy, and just not there emotionally. She also spends a lot of time at the gym, running club, or biking with bike club. I think there is a lot of opportunity, since she's often with athletic groups and lots of men. She is in shape and attractive. All the red flags are there, but so far, no smoking gun, no excessive emailing or cell calls. I just am uncomfortable over the changes in the last few months. Just getting more distant. I picked up a VAR but haven't tried it in her car yet. Haven't figured out how best to hide it. She does most of her cell calls while in the car, so if anything going on, that's where it would happen. I also want to get a GPS tracking device to put in her car. I want to see if she really is staying at her sibling's house or going somewhere else. If I'm wrong, I'll feel like a fool, but I hate not knowing. Any recommendations on a small GPS tracking device? Should I get a data logging unit or one that tracks in real time? I want something that is reliable and small. The W is planning to be away this week again for a few days. I'll first try planting the VAR in the car while I wait for the GPS to show up. I'm hoping I'm being overly suspicious and that I'm wrong. I should know in a few weeks, I think. In the meantime, I'll post again as things progress. If I'm right, this will be a deal breaker. We've had a lot of conflict over the years, and this would be the convincing event, if it happens. The W is very strong-minded, always right, and very alpha. At the same time, she is very critical of me for not standing up to her. She is sharp-tongued and can carve you to pieces in an argument. I'm easier going. A roll with the punches type of guy. Needless to say, it's been a strange trip so far. More background. This is a blended family. We both were single parents before we met. I have come to realize that she married me out of convenience, to get away from a bad situation. Now she has learned to love me over the years, her words. She was a wild child when in college while I was pretty conservative. She had sometimes mentioned how, in the past, she had slept with a lot of guys, just to use them for sex. She also openly promotes being sexually active with someone you're dating. Got to kick the tires before you can know if you're interested in buying. Her words. She has a lot of male friends and sometimes she can be openly provocative in conversation. This tends to turn guys on, I've noticed, and I think she likes that. We both work full-time jobs but with very different schedules. Her schedule takes her away from home a lot. My salary is more than hers and it accounts for a comfortable lifestyle. I often think that this was a major reason she married me and a reason she is still around. I've checked her emails and Facebook, but she doesn't seem to use either very much, unless she has another login I'm not aware of. Another fun tidbit, after we married, I found out that while we were going out, she was actually seeing 2 other guys as well. She was also sleeping with all 3 of us. She needed the info before making a decision on who to commit to. I think this went on for about 3 months or so. I wasn't aware of it at the time. If I was, I would have run for the hills. I found out years later, over some beers. She had a good laugh over it and thought it was all pretty funny. I wasn't very amused. I am the most stable and have the larger salary and had a nice house in a nice neighborhood. We dated about 1 year before marrying. So, given the 3+ months that she was playing the field, that would be 8 to 9 months before we got married. Of course, the 2 other guys are what she has admitted to. There could have been more, and I'm sure there were more just before we met. She was dating for a year or 2 before we met. She would never do anything on the first date, I believe her, but watch out on the second date. She is very alpha and aggressive when she wants something. I found out all this stuff a few years into the marriage. At that point all the kids had bonded to each other and to us, so I didn't pursue it much. My W doesn't often scream, but she is very articulate, can carve you to pieces verbally, and is great at making you feel like you are always the problem. She will also sometimes use language that would make a sailor blush. Interesting update. Last night we were just talking and the subject came up of a couple we know who recently separated. Our guess is that the W was cheating and left. We had seen her in town with another guy recently. Anyway, my W commented that it was a silly reason to break up and that they should just get over it. The W cheating and having an affair. It wasn't a big deal, small potatoes, and nothing to break up over. Her words. Wow, now my antennas are really up. I let her comments go. Right now, I'm in quiet mode, trying to find evidence. If I find anything, that will be the end. I've put up with so much the last 10 years that if I find that she has had an affair, I won't even consider one of our counseling sessions. My W announced that I needed to grow a pair. I guess she might be out shopping for a rental pair herself lately. We used to bond several times a week. However, the last 3 months it's been maybe once every 3 weeks. And then she wants it done in 5 minutes so she can get some sleep. She is often tired at night and has started taking sleeping pills at home. This means she's out cold by 9:30 p.m., not much happening most nights. Interestingly, last night she was very receptive to bonding. That took me by surprise. Another tidbit I forgot to mention. About a month ago we started seeing a financial advisor together, trying to clear up some debt and save for college for the kids. Anyway, at one of the meetings the W brought up the possibility of getting a divorce to help out with things. That way she could live separately, and I would take on most of the debt since my CC is loaded and some college loans are taken out in my name. I told her that was the most ridiculous thing I had ever heard and wasn't interested. We both keep separate accounts and credit cards. The more I recount all these incidents, the more I see a pattern of red flags. I am very tempted to confront her and ask her outright about an affair. However, I don't want to tip my hand and have her go underground. I am actually home with the kids most nights and I would miss that if we got a defunny. The marriage seems more like a business relationship now. I'm home to run the ship while she works, she takes care of kid stuff, etc. We are almost like roommates, sharing a house. The sibling is rarely home and the W uses it as a place to crash, most often by herself. If the W was having an affair with someone from work, I couldn't imagine a more ideal setup for her. I'm looking forward to the GPS tracker and VAR giving me info. I am being patient and want to gather some info myself. Her work location is 1.5 hour drive from me, so not that easy to swing in and check. I picked up the VAR already. It seems to work fine. I've got the Velcro and just need the opportunity with her car when no one is around. But whatever, I need to stay away an extra night this week because of my work schedule. So, she's home 3 to 4 nights a week, average. A typical week is us having just one night where we can sit down and have dinner together as a family. She knows I'm not happy with this, but I just need to buck up. I need to find my own activities, clubs, sports, etc. where I can get away for a day or two at a time on a regular basis. It would be good for me. I've always wanted to be home though, for the kids. It's good to have at least one parent there constantly to provide some stability for the kids. The W does have valid reasons for staying overnight for work, and I know her work schedule. She has commuted each way otherwise. Still, I'm not sure about what happens between work shifts. She works 12-hour night shifts, typically 3 days a week. The commute becomes brutal. She is a nurse, so not really opportunity to work from home. No clue as to OM. There is still a chance it is my imagination, I hope. But whatever, are these GPS units sensitive to placement with a car? I want to make sure it is really well hidden and tucked away. She's away at track tonight again. I hope to get the VAR in the car soon. She's had the car almost nonstop and I've been tied up with my work. For finances, we keep a joint check, savings account, and we both also keep our own separate bank accounts. I have no idea what she does with her money or how much she has as a balance. I'm more transparent. Have been busy with our counselor sessions and such. Not to mention that I have been doing max hours at work. My job has become very demanding and stressful lately, which hasn't helped things. Lots of unpaid overtime. No clear evidence yet with the GPS and VAR. The W is giving me more distance and drawing away. Not sure what is going on. She may be just punishing me emotionally, or it could be an affair. Bonding is a memory. We have been just doing our own things, under the same roof. I may just give her the okay to see other guys. Lately, I don't care that much. I'm just fried. We went to couples counseling last night. She claims she doesn't want divorce. Doesn't believe in it. I don't want divorce either, but life is too short to spend it with someone if you are both miserable together. I consider that divorce is always an option. And I told her all this. So, last night we had a heated, emotional discussion over our relationship. Why she is so unhappy, where do we want to go, etc. So far, I've made no mention of cheating, affairs, etc. So, she seems to be unaware of my suspicion, and that's fine. I want to get some piece of evidence before I make any accusations. The GPS and VAR haven't captured anything really juicy yet. There were a few brief conversations that were suspicious, but they could be easily explained away as friendly banter with friends as well. A month later, I've tried the GPS with nothing found yet. The big thing is that things have blown up at home with my teenage son. Acting out, conflicts, etc. even involving the police. That, coupled with the fact that work is heating up and I have to work weekends now, has put this whole relationship thing on the back burner. Sort of. I'm still keeping my eyes open, but I need to concentrate on my son for now. Man, when it rains it pours. I still suspect something, as she has changed physically at the same time as she has been away more often. By that I mean, less available, not in the mood, pushing me away, etc. Hope to get back on my feet and report more. Sorry for being away so much. It's my stepson. He actually butts heads more with his mom than me. Interesting. Anyway, his dad committed suicide when he was a toddler, so there is a lot of baggage going on. I'm trying to do the best for him. In the meantime, I have videos of my wife and someone else going on in the back of my head all the time, and they aren't rated PG. I've asked her outright if she'd ever think of seeing another guy, and she got very annoyed with me. I don't want to press without hard evidence. I have to find a PI. I have maybe 30 minutes each day for my own stuff, so hard to find the time. Funny, the more you work, the less you have, time, happiness, fulfillment, relationship, etc. Another month later. It's been a while, so I figured I'd check in. Things have improved. I've spent the summer in observation. VAR, GPS, email, etc. and nothing that is suspicious has popped up. We have been going through ups and downs, and things have improved somewhat. It could have been my imagination playing with me. For now, we seem good, but I'll be keeping my eyes wide open as we go forward. Update. Things had been going better, so I hadn't posted lately. However, the last few weeks it's been different. W runs hot and cold. Hot one day, cool the next. No bonding for the last 3 weeks now. One change is she hired a new male trainer about a month ago and has been busy with that a lot. Several meetings a week. I haven't found any suspicious emails or anything, but latest red flags are no intimacy in the last 3 weeks, longer than usual. New male trainer, running hot and cold, way more than usual. She just changed her Facebook password. Her cell phone is now password locked. Time for the VAR again. Maybe this time I'll catch something. Update. I caught some VAR activity where she is talking with her sweetie. Apparently, she has been sleeping with this guy on the side. It's taken me a while to find this out, but glad I did. I am just disgusted. No confrontation yet. So far, it's comments I've caught on the VAR. I want to get some harder evidence before exposing. I don't want to tip my hand too early. Also, I don't yet know who the AP is. In the meantime, I'll seek out some legal counsel. I'm already reviewing my financial situation. A few months later, we have a lot of debt, credit cards, mortgage, home equity, college loan. The college loan is for my daughter. I agreed to a parent loan which is now time to starting repaying. My daughter additionally has considerable loans which she is taking on. I signed the loan without talking with my wife. I know this was wrong. We have had other issues going on which contributed. Through our marriage she has spent a lot on her biological kids, and they each have more money saved up for college than my biological kids. The disparity has always been an issue and we weren't communicating well at the time. This was maybe 4 years ago. Since then, our relationship had improved greatly. Anyway, about 6 months ago I told her about it and she is furious. I've been essentially cut off. She will periodically get lovely with me and we'll sleep together, but right after I get the cold shoulder and I'm back in the doghouse. I've stopped this since I don't want to be anyone's toy. The last few months she has mentioned divorce a few times, even though she still loves me. I think, for her, it has become a love-hate relationship with me. We have been going to counseling and I have been taking on more responsibility around the house to help out and prove that I'm not an evil troll. For what it's worth, my salary is generally a bit more than hers. The bottom line is I am getting tired of being treated like this. I feel like I can spend some of my income in a discretionary manner, and helping my daughter with her college debt is my choice. I'm thinking of splitting our finances. I can carry the college loan and still provide at least 50% of our home costs. It's clear that communication issues have led to this, but I don't plan on living as the bad guy forever. Whenever we have conflicts, the issue of this loan is brought out and I get beaten over the head with it. Counseling has calmed things down but does not seem to be the solution. I know it was my mistake, mismanaging the college finances. I'm afraid I've mortally wounded our marriage. Still not much change. My wife is taking on extra shifts to help with her kids' college savings and to save for a new car. She is always sure to express how tired and overworked she is and that life sucks. Very passive-aggressive without coming out and actually accusing me of ruining her life. Also, she has thrown out the idea of moving out a few times the last 2 weeks. I can't do overtime because I am salaried. Still, I'm refinancing the house, have stopped buying any fun things for myself, and have been trimming down our spending a bit. It is bad enough that we are miserable, but not quite miserable enough to split up. The biggest thing that bothers me is that she is so negative. The minute she wakes up each morning she starts talking about how sucky her day is going to be. Everything is a problem. Her parents, the kids, the economy, she can't travel, etc. I think one issue is that her older sister is married and is always traveling and having adventures. She sees that and thinks, what the hell? We've been married 10 years now and have been seeing couples counseling the last 3 years on a regular basis. Even before this all blew up. She sometimes gives me a kiss and says I love you, but most of the time she tends to be distant and self-absorbed. She has taken to working more days and taking extra shifts whenever she can to help with our finances. This has us separated even more. I am salaried so can't get overtime pay. I am looking for a weekend job to help out, but not a lot so far that would work alongside my current job schedule. Part of her anger is that she is now working harder and I apparently am not. This has been going on now for 8 months. Curiously, all the extra money she has been earning from overtime, etc. she has been putting into her biological kids' college savings and also to pay for her daughters traveling abroad this past year. Life is rough. She hasn't yet paid $1 towards this college loan I signed for. It has just come due this past month and I have started paying from my own discretionary income. She plans to work overtime the next 8 years so her kids will have no loans and meanwhile beat me over the head. Just 2 days ago we had another counseling session where she accused me of betraying her trust and was still livid about the whole thing. My wife is indeed a warrior. She was a single mother for 4 years before we married, and she was used to running things a certain way. Her way of solving problems is to take them on herself and throw herself at them. The superwoman. This is great, but it comes at a price for me. There is little teamwork, and she ends up taking on too much and becoming bitter over time. She becomes the superwoman while I become small in her mind. I recognize this tendency and have been working on trying to dilute it. Not very successful yet. Few months later. Quick update. I'm at work, so it will be short for now. I'll add more later. We are in attempted R right now. The OM was exposed and has left the picture, as far as I know. R is shaky at best. D is still a possibility depending on how things go. I have not filed yet, but have my ducks in a row and have let the WW know that D is still an option that I am considering. I apologize for being gone so long. Life has kept me busy 24/7 the last few months. Family, WW, work, stress, WW, OM, work, stress, illness, kids, WW, stress, and I've been negligent about posting. Unfortunately, I've had to be working overtime the last few months, and still am, so often I am wiped when I get home, especially with what's been going on at home. Anyway, a few months back, I had caught on the car VAR my WW talking with the other man. Didn't catch his name though. I really wanted to catch more, so I didn't confront but played dumb and was in stealth mode. I reactivated the car GPS and waited. Not much on the cell records, so I figured it was a burner phone. I wanted to catch the guy's name before confronting. The WW was very careful, and it took me a few weeks before I caught a conversation on the VAR with one of her girlfriends. She was talking about the other man with her friend and mentioned his name. A breakthrough at last. It was a good catch, about 45-minute conversation mostly about the affair. Apparently, she was breaking the news to her friend and her friend was giving her a hard time over it. WW mentioned that she was breaking off with the guy because she was just too guilty and didn't want to hurt our family. From the conversation I believed it. That was the good news I got. She also talked about how the other man was great in bed, was hot, and was a much better lover than me, and that had made it hard for her to break it off. That was the bad news. Not fun to hear that. The friend apparently wasn't amused by it and was chewing her out on the phone. Yay. I confronted the WW the next day about it and we had it all out on the table. She was upset about it, her behavior, and also how it leaked out and was affecting her family. The kids have been pretty quiet about it. They know something has been up but are doing okay. The OM was someone she had met at a sporting event, another athlete, and was hooking up with on the side. It turns out he would pick her up in his car and go to his place where they would b*** each other silly. That's why I never caught them on the VAR or with the car GPS. He is single, divorced, no kids, so no one to expose to. For better or for worse, I made her give me details. A lot of minimizing and rug sweeping. It took a few days and lots of tears on her part, but I gleaned that it was purely a PA. They both knew it wouldn't last, but WW was in the fog and she went for it. Lots of gory details. The whole thing is still so fresh and raw for me that I feel like I am just numb all the time. WW has been very apologetic and acting sorry. We are going to MC and she is acting like she wants to stay and work on the marriage. I believe the affair is over. She seems to have snapped out of it. I don't really know the OM, but had I had the WW send him a NC letter and turn in her burner phone. She has been open with her email and FB accounts and cell phone, and I think she is out of the fog. However, I have my eyes wide open and am not as naive now. The loss of trust is the hardest part. I don't want to live my life having to worry constantly that my W is sleeping with someone else. That's where I am right now. I'll give it some time to see if that feeling goes away. I got tested for STD, negative, thank goodness. I am not saying I am outright forgiving her. D is not out of the question still. I just want to see where this can go before totally pulling the plug. I still love her, or at least think I do. I have to reconcile a lot of emotions. She swears it is the first time and I have had no evidence or inkling of trouble in the past. I'm too pissed that it even happened once. I'm pursuing exposing the OM. I'm looking into finding out his contacts. He doesn't use a FB account. The other man is an athlete she met at one of her races. Outside of that, there is no connection with our town, her work, the gym, our social groups, etc. From now on, she doesn't go to such events alone, but with me. She has agreed to that. So far, I've told my WW sister and Bill, so they now know. They are upset with her and very concerned for our marriage. Our youngest is turning 16 soon. I have been looking forward to us becoming empty nesters, but now I can't even go there. WW and I had another talk last night about us and the affair. She could give no other reason other than she got caught up in the physical attraction and just lost her common sense and moral compass. I haven't told her yet that I know of her comments about the other man being a better lover. I don't want to give up my sources yet. I don't think she knows about the VAR. I did dig for more details and got way more than I needed, I think. I'll be having mind movies for a while now. I guess this had been going on for several months and there was unprotected bonding. Also, she did things with him that she never did with me in bed. I think there's still more, so I'm not done digging yet. We are an MC and we both started IC as well. At least she has seemed very remorseful and has acknowledged the pain she caused. I think D is in the works. I just don't think I can get over it all. The details she gave me are too much. I'm starting the 180 to help myself and will see my lawyer tomorrow about proceeding. A week later, D is in the works. I found a good lawyer and had her served at home. She took it hard and there was a lot of wailing and gnashing of teeth. We went back and forth for over a week with arguments, long talks, airing of grievances, etc. It's pretty much done. It's D all the way. I decided I don't need this anymore and I don't want her back anyway. She has become almost matter-of-fact about our breakup. Still, lots of holes in her stories which she just won't fill in. She has moved out and is staying with a friend, female. I have been fried the last month or so, but now I am in a much better space. Having a plan resolved, even if it's D, seems to have lifted a weight from me. It is tough, but I can handle it. Some days are really bad still. The kids are taking it hard but are doing as well as they can be expected to. They are staying with me in the house. We've worked out an arrangement where the WW comes over and spends time every day with the kids. I don't hang around. She still has a thing going on with the other man, I am sure. At this point I don't check on her anymore and don't care or want to care. It hurts still. I have been doing the 180 and this has helped me tremendously. We stopped going to MC. I didn't see the point anymore. I go to IC myself and that helps keep me grounded. I did confront the other man, both on the phone and via email. I congratulated him on being a home wrecker and an inspiration to males everywhere, sarcasm. He was apologetic, sheepish, and has been lying low ever since. From everything I know, I truly believe it was my wife who was the pursuer and who pushed herself on this guy. That doesn't make him blameless, but I think my focus is on my WW and what she did to me. I can't spend much energy on the other man. I believe my WW also had a previous PA, maybe a year before this. This is what I believe, after mentally reviewing her changeover of behavior over the past. Needless to say, we haven't had any bonding in a while. She is a knockout, physically fit, and personable when she wants to be. To me, I don't care anymore. I did play that VAR conversation to her and she was horrified and apologetic. I think she was more horrified that I heard the conversation and she was caught than anything else. We've talked with the kids and they know that we are breaking up because mom wants to spend more time with the other man and wants to be happy. I'm taking the high road with the kids and not taking to bashing her. They're old enough and know what's going already. It's amazing how disconnected she now is and how easily she is taking the D. I expect the karma bus will make an appearance sooner than she thinks. Once the D becomes final, I am focused on the kids and the D details. Since the youngest is almost 16, child support will not be an issue for very long. WW makes almost as much as me, so she shouldn't need much support. WW is not planning on playing hardball financially or regarding the kids. She seems so smitten with the other man, and also, I think her newfound sense of freedom. The other man is not from this area, so it will take me a while to find his family, etc. I'm working on that though. I don't have the VAR in her car anymore since she moved out and it's hard to get access to her car. Plus, I am no longer in evidence-gathering mode since D is underway. I probably wouldn't have played her the VAR if I hadn't filed for D already. I do know that she doesn't spend a lot of time at her friend's apartment, so I am assuming she is having workouts with her new true love. I drive by often to check for her car. I know her work schedule and the car are away a lot more than for just work. Am I being obsessive? I hope not. I have to let it go at some point or it will all eat me alive. At some level I don't care since it won't be my problem soon. Of course, you can't just turn off feelings and the anger and hurt are still strong. So far, she has been good about not exposing the kids to the other man. Also, she does spend time with the kids, but that has become awkward since they know what the story is and aren't happy with her. I am taking the high road and hoping the kids recognize that and appreciate that over time. One thing that bugs me is that since our breakup she has been looking fantastic. Gotten into even better shape, dresses sharper, and seems to have energy. She looks 10 years younger and is even more head-turner. I guess it must be all that clean living. Of course, where was that when we were married? Maybe her boy toy is so well endowed that I never had a chance. What the hell? This pisses me off to no end, but I am keeping to the 180 so don't acknowledge it to her. I am thinking that maybe she is doing this to get my goat, to twist the knife a bit. My 99 is helping me sift through all these feelings. I can't wait until D so I can have more closure and a better sense of separation and good riddance feelings. I've had urges for a revenge affair, but not seriously. Sometimes, when I'm feeling okay, I can think forward about a new GF. I need to get past the D first. Also, I think it's important for the kids that I do not start dating until a formal D. Someone here has to be a role model. I know from being married to her that when she wants bonding, she can be a ravenous machine. She was always more HD than me. Those days have been long gone for me, for sure. This just feeds into the mind movies, visualizing them together, her writing him. Anyway, enough of that. It all sucks since she seems to be quite content while I am miserable, taking the high road. What the hell? I am just hoping that the karma bus has left the station and is on its way for her. I also trust that, after this is all over, I will be with a better woman in the end. Been hitting the gym lately and have started on antidepressants, starting to focus on me. Well, I found out she went out of state on a trip to run a marathon over the weekend. Hope she pulls a muscle. I think her heartthrob also ran the race. That's okay, I'm doing okay. Keeping busy. Last night I took my sons to see a hockey playoff game. We had a great time. It's funny, but over the last 10 years, after we got married, I have been hit on by a few local women who I've known over the years as friends or acquaintances. A few were pretty overt and very tempting indeed. However, I never cheated and I avoided indulgences. I made it clear that I wasn't leaving my marriage and took the high road. Maybe I was the fool after all. I feel very empowered lately. Since I forced her out, I've separated our finances and am in more control of everything. She seems annoyed at how I seem to be so independent lately. I'm becoming more alpha and she doesn't seem to like it. Can't wait for the D to become completed. I think I'll enjoy dating again and seeing what life is like outside the fishbowl of her universe. I've left out some details about our interactions. Perhaps when I'm feeling stronger, I'll fill in some more of the blanks. She's a real piece of work. I'm planning to sell the house. Too many false memories in it, plus, I can't afford it. We've agreed to split 50/50 what we have invested in it. Tonight, she got drunk and called me and was chewing me out. It was funny. She was telling me off about integrity and what about our family. I said, really, did you think about that when you slept with someone? She was not amused and got all angry with me. Quick update, doing well with new lifestyle. Still waiting on D to be final. I've seen her a few times, in dealing with kids and house issues. She is putting on a good front, but I can tell things are not going smoothly. Every now and then she sends me flurries of texts. Misses us. We should get back together. Sorry and I love you. That kind of stuff. A few months ago, I would have gotten sucked back in, but now, I find it almost humorous. A few weeks ago, I replied to one of those by sending her a picture of a face making a raspberry. Made me chuckle and she called and started venting at me on the phone, saying cruel stuff, like how she used to think about him when we were having bonding, that after being with him in bed she could never go back to me, etc. That stuff doesn't hurt as much anymore. It's no longer my job to make her happy. She is a strikingly attractive woman, in a healthy girl next door kind of way, and I'm sure is getting lots of attention. I bet she's finding that the fun life rings hollow. I sent the other man a letter congratulating him on his new catch. Lots of laughs at the end of the letter too. It was very therapeutic for me. A month later, have been working overtime and working on my D. The kids are doing okay and seem to be accepting our divorce. It helps they are a bit older, I guess. It's lucky I am busy at work. I can throw myself into it and escape my life for a good chunk of the day. The WW and I have been civil and talked just enough to deal with the kids and D plans. She still seems to be in the fog and shows little remorse. She just apologizes a lot and gets weepy sometimes when I see her. The last time I met her was to go over some financials, a quick meeting. Of course, she was dressed and was looking great with her athletic body and over-the-top smiles. Didn't faze me though. You can put sauce on a hamburger, but it's still a hamburger. I think she has been sleeping with the other man periodically. I can't wait until the D and she will be someone else's problem. Almost half a year later, back again after a vacation spell. The D is done. It's been a while and I am in a pretty good space right now. Work has kept me busy. I am spending a lot of time working on myself and fixing up the house as much as possible. I figure this fall, winter I concentrate on house fixing and post it for sale in the spring. The work keeps my mind busy, which is good. I am really over her in terms of wanting her back, but I find it is too easy to slip into spells of extreme anger. Nothing good comes from that. I now see her as less attractive and realize that I put her on a pedestal for a long time. That's never a healthy thing to do. I had signed up on Match.com and have gone on a few dates recently. I've met some attractive women, and some real funky interesting ones too. I'm having some fun with the dating, but I'm keeping it light. No bonding just yet. I know what kind of drama that can lead to. Also, I am really not quite ready for that. As for my ex-WW, she seems to be a bit lost now. She dropped by one night a month ago to talk about kid stuff. She was definitely looking for same action, bottle of wine, tight clothes, all made up. I didn't fall for it. I thought she looked like a skank. Kept it business for 15 minutes, then cut her off. I told her I needed to get ready as I had a dinner engagement to lie to get ready for. That really got her going. She was all questions and wanted to talk about us and getting back together. After another 10 minutes I chased her out. She wasn't angry, just very sad looking as she left. I think she was hoping for some hysterical bonding, to open the door for possibly starting over again. Not me, my friend. It actually bothered me more that night than it did when I saw her. Hard to get to sleep. I kept thinking and wondering, how did I ever get to this point in life? Anyway, I think her other man left her, as I'd not heard of them being together in a while. He probably ran out of Viagra and deflated like a cheap parade balloon in front of my ex-WW's eyes. Imagine the horror of it all. I keep that as a visual to fall back on to keep my spirits up. Another thing I did was mail the OM another letter. I wrote out a list of instructions for caring for my ex-WW when she felt ill. I spelled out in nasty detail how she was prone to debilitating hemorrhoid flare-ups, which sometimes lasted for days. I told him that I was concerned for her and that it was good that she had someone by her side who could help her walk that journey through life. It was all made up, of course, but it made me chuckle writing it, and it's fun messing with the OM's mind a bit. I'm going to stop that stuff now. I don't want to cross the line and cause trouble for myself. My comment: what you guys think about OP's final letter to the other man? It looks like he dodged a big trouble. Do you wish OP did something different? Comment down and I will see you in the afternoon video.